Marvel fans, this one is crazy. We have a new report about Spider-Man 4, and as opposed to a lot of the other reports that we've been talking about lately, this comes from an official source. I'm talking about a reveal from Production Weekly, an actual industry website that has actual industry information. And a bunch of insiders and scoopers did share this thing from Production Weekly. It made like huge waves online, so I want to talk about it with you, break it down, tell you my thoughts on it. Okay, so here it is right here. Spider-Man 4 feature film from Pascal Pictures. That's Amy Pascal's production company. It's got a status of shooting in May 25th. The location will be the United Kingdom. Here's the log line that is on this official piece of information here. It says, following the events of Doomsday, Peter Parker is determined to lead a normal life and focus on college, stepping back from his responsibilities as Spider-Man. However, peace is short-lived when a deadly new threat emerges, endangering his friends and forcing Peter to reconsider his promise. With stakes higher than ever, Peter reluctantly returns to his Spider-Man identity and finds himself teaming up with an unlikely ally to protect those he loves. And then the absolute craziness. It says Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, Michael Keaton as Vulture, and Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom mentioned to join the cast. And then it says aka Spider-Man brand new day. Now, I do want to sort of caution here. We don't know if this will 100% end up being true. Some people are claiming that Production Weekly often puts fake stuff in there to throw people off. I gotta be honest with you, I don't think so. I've never experienced that myself. As far as I know, every time Production Weekly puts something out, it's pretty legit. But it's important to keep in mind that everything that's going on with Marvel right now is super dynamic. So some of this stuff could change, and I think they're technically still working on the script right now with Spider-Man 4. But as we've been going over recently, Tom Holland has said that the idea is very different, but it's something worthy of the fans. He talked about how the script needs work, but they have an idea for the story. And this thing here from Production Weekly lines up with all of that. In fact, now, let me go back through this actual explanation here, talk about how the rumors and leaks basically corroborate this as being real. Okay, so first off, it says, following the events of Doomsday, Peter Parker is determined to lead a normal life and focus on college, stepping back from his responsibilities as Spider-Man. Holy shit, that's a crazy statement. First of all, they leave it super vague as to what happens in Doomsday, but following those events, Peter Parker's just gonna try to have a normal life and not be Spider-Man anymore. Now, what's crazy about that is right now, all that Tom Holland's Peter Parker is Spider-Man. He's not Peter Parker. Nobody remembers that he is Peter Parker because of the spell from No Way Home. But this lines up with rumors that Peter Parker may well be given a choice by Dr. Doom in the Doomsday film to basically get his old life back. And when I mean his old life, I truly mean his old life as Peter Parker. We just talked about in a video how Alex Perez and the Cosmic Circus are doing theory pieces about Spider-Man 4, and in the very first one that they drop, they indicate that it is possible that in Spider-Man 4, there is a completely new 616, one where Tom Holland's Peter Parker is remembered again by everybody. He gets his friends back and probably just goes on to have a normal life. And the mention of college here is really interesting because one of the casting rumors that was reported by insiders was that Peter Parker would be going to college and some of the new cast would be his college roommates or people that he associates with at college. And that ties into long-standing rumors that the plan for Tom Holland's Peter Parker was to do 3 movies while he was in high school, 3 movies while he was in college. And so this right here is lining up with all of that. However, one thing that's new in here is this whole idea of him not being Spider-Man again. Now, that is pretty freaking crazy. Does that mean that there's another Spider-Man in this universe, or are there just no Spider-Man in this universe? And what does that look like? Is it just Peter not being Spider-Man, or in this new universe that Dr. Doom creates, is Tom Holland never bitten by the spider and therefore does not actually have his spider powers? And could it be the case that Andrew Garfield is actually Spider-Man in this newly created universe? Well, let's go into the next part here. It says, however, peace is short-lived when a deadly new threat emerges, endangering his friends and forcing Peter to reconsider his promise. Now, what could this deadly new threat be? Well, there's a lot of rumors right now that it's going to be Noel, the symbiote god, or perhaps something associated with the symbiotes, Eddie Brock, Venom, or something like that. By the way, this hoodie's at GameStop. It's awesome. It's got a tongue. You got the Venom thing you could, it's so cool. Now, the only confusing part to me here is like, what role does Doctor Doom play in this world, right? Because he created this new universe, he's seemingly a part of this new universe, but Peter Parker's not Spider-Man, and then there's a threat that emerges that makes Peter want to be Spider-Man again. But if it's no, like, wouldn't Doctor Doom just handle that shit? Wouldn't he just be like, oh, sorry, man, this is my new universe. F off, Noel. Is Doctor Doom the unlikely person that Peter's going to team up with? That would be absolutely wild. Or maybe it's the case that Doctor Doom is off, like, on Asgard or something. Like, maybe Doom makes himself a literal god, and he's over at Asgard, so he's not really watching Midgard. Maybe it's Vulture that he ends up teaming up with. I mean, technically speaking, Vulture was sympathetic to Peter, knew who he was in the first movie, but didn't reveal that. Vulture's also done some kind of crazy multiversal stuff showing up in the Morbius film, so like maybe Vulture has some idea of what's going on. Or maybe it's just Eddie Brock. Like, I could see a new version of Tom Hardy's Eddie Brock in Spider-Man 4, literally just recreated in this new universe as like a more traditional Eddie Brock and not the Eddie Brock of the Sonyverse. So I'm a little bit confused on this part, but it does have several ways that it can tie into all the other rumors that we have been hearing. And I'll just read the last line for you here. With the stakes higher than ever, Peter reluctantly returns to his Spider-Man identity and finds himself teaming up with an unlikely ally to protect those he loves. And the inclusion of Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom, Michael Keaton as Vulture, and Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man seems to be really important to this film. But it is the title of Brand New Day, which is so freaking crazy. Now, in order to explain why this might be the key piece of this whole puzzle, which explains everything, I gotta give you a little bit of comic book history. Spider-Man Brand New Day was a response to Spider-Man One More Day. And Spider-Man One More Day was this crazy story coming out of Civil War where everybody knew Spider-Man's identity. He was married to Mary Jane Watson, but Aunt May gets shot because of Peter's identity being out there. Peter Parker then goes to everybody, like Doctor Strange, Reed Richards. He goes to everybody to try to help Aunt May. Nobody can help. So then Peter Parker goes to Mephisto. He makes a super controversial deal with the literal devil. And the deal gives Aunt May one more day, gives her more life, but at the cost of Peter Parker's identity being revealed and his marriage to Mary Jane Watson. And so at the end of the story, Peter agrees the marriage is gone. It's erased from existence, and then nobody knows who Peter Parker is again, and Aunt May is alive. But then Brand New Day kind of retcons that, right? Because people hated that. They hated the erasure of the marriage of Mary Jane Watson and all of that, and they just hated like the wildness of that deal with Mephisto. So of course, Brand New Day undoes that. It sets it back to where everybody knows who Peter Parker is. There's no relationship with Mary Jane, and Aunt May is alive. And if this is really the title, this is a very telling aspect of what they are cooking with this Spider-Man 4 movie, and I think it really makes sense in the context of a lot of the rumors we've been talking about. I mean, Peter has kind of dealt with the Civil War thing already. People knew his identity. It was exposed by Mysterio. Peter then tries to use magic with Doctor Strange to erase his memory, or erase the memory of him being exposed from everybody. That spell obviously goes poorly, and then Sinister Six comes into the universe, and it ends with the death of Aunt May, right? Green Goblin kills Aunt May. Peter then makes an ultimate sacrifice at the end of that movie, giving up his identity, giving up his friends, giving up his life, right? But then Doctor Doom is going to come in Doomsday and I think present to Tom Holland a sort of monkey paw deal with the devil's scenario. The scenario will be, hey, don't be Spider-Man and you can get your Aunt May back. You can get all of your friends back. We're Gucci, man. Just don't be Spider-Man. And so Brand New Day in the comic books undoes a lot of stuff. I think Brand New Day in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is going to undo a lot of stuff too and present to us a new world manipulated by Doctor Doom and by magic to be a fake reality where Peter Parker isn't Spider-Man, where he has his life, he has his friends, and most importantly, he has Aunt May back, which is going to be awesome. It's going to be so devastating for him to have to give her up to create the actual proper universe again. So all in all, I think this is actually super revealing. I think it fits in with all the rumors we've been talking about. They're still working on the script. I wonder who this villain is. I wonder if they're committed to Noel or if maybe the lower performance of Venom 3 is making them rethink that. I'm not really sure. But this is crazy stuff, man. I gotta know what you think about this. So let me know in the comment section below. And as I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and a nerdy day. and I'll see you in the next video.